Dear friends, English Literature, Introduction to Drama, Answer the Man by George Bernard Shaw. Brief questions with answers. Brief questions 101 to 150. Question 101. Why does Catherine turn amazed to Raina? Answer. Catherine turns amazed to Raina, hearing Raina calling Bluntschli poor darling. She suspects that her daughter has fallen in love with him. Question 102. Who is Nicola? Answer. Nicola is the servant man of the Petkov family. Question 103. What is the relation between Loka and Nicola? Answer. They are the maid and manservants of the Petkov family. They are engaged. Question 104. Why is Loka angry with Nicola? Answer. Loka is angry with Nicola because he is seriously advising her to be faithful and obedient to Catherine and Raina. Question 105. How does Nicola warn Loka? Answer. Nicola warns Loka by saying that if Catherine suspects that Loka is dissolving her, she will be dismissed from the service. Question 106. You have no spirit. Who says this and to whom? What is meant here? Answer. Loka says this to Nicola. She means that he is a coward having a slavish attitude. Question 107. But you are young. Who says this and to whom? In what sense the person spoken to is young? Answer. Nicola says this to Loka. She is young in the sense that she has no experience of the world. Question 108. Let him quarrel with me if they dare. Who are them and me? Why wouldn't they dare to quarrel? Answer. Them refers to the Petkov family and me to Loka. The Petkov family would not dare to quarrel with Loka because she knew some secrets of the family. If they quarrel with her, she would disclose the secrets. Question 109. You have the soul of a servant. Who says this and to whom? What does the speaker mean by the words? Answer. Loka says this to Nicola. Loka means that she is every inch a servant. Question 110. What, according to Nicola, is the secret of success in service? Answer. According to Nicola, to have the soul of a servant is the secret of success in service. Question 111. How long is Nicola in the service of the Petkovs? Answer. Nicola is in the service of the Petkovs for 10 years. Question 112. What is cognac? Answer. Cognac is the best quality of French brandy obtained from wine made at Cognac, a town in France. Question 113. My dear Paul, who says this? Who is Paul? Answer. Catherine says this. Paul is the Christian name of her husband, Major Petkov. Question 114. When and where was the peace treaty signed? Answer. The peace treaty was signed on the 3rd of March. I repeated. The peace treaty was signed on the 3rd of March 1886 at Bucharest. Question 115. What is Catherine's attitude towards treaty signed at Bucharest? Answer. Catherine cannot tolerate peace with the Serbs. She wants Serbians to be made a part of Bulgaria. Question 116. I don't believe in going too far with these modern customs. Who says this? What modern custom doesn't the speaker believe in? Answer. Major Petkov says this. He doesn't believe in the modern custom of his wife's washing neck every day. Question 117. What argument did Major Petkov put against washing every day? Answer. He argued that washing every day has come from the English. Their climate makes them so dirty that they wash themselves perpetually. Again, he argued that his father lived 98 years as the healthiest man without having any bath in his life. Question 118. You are a barbarian at heart still. Who says this and to whom? Why does the speaker call the person spoken to barbarian? Answer. Catherine says this to her husband, Major Petkov. She calls her husband a barbarian because he is in favor of washing his body once a week instead of once a day. Question 119. Why didn't Major Petkov favor the promotion of Sergius from a major to a general? Answer: Major Petkov didn't favor the promotion of Sergius because Sergius, won the Battle of Slivnica the wrong way. His cavalry charge against a battery of machine guns was against the military rules. If he is promoted to a general, he will ruin the whole brigade instead of regiment by his unprofessional cavalry charge. Question 120. What is Byronism? Answer: Byronism denotes the model of life set forth by the Romantic poet Lord Byron. Question 121. Who is described as a Byronic hero in Arms of the Man? Why? Answer: In Arms of the Man, Sergius is described as a Byronic hero for his brooding on the constant failure. Question 122. It was the cradle and the grave of my military reputation. Who says this? What does it refer to? Answer: Sergius says this. It refers to Sergius' cavalry charge against a battery of machine guns. Question 123. How was the cavalry charge the cradle and the grave of Sergius' military reputation? Answer: The cavalry charge was the first military operation of his life, and he was regarded as a hero by winning the battle. Thus, it was the cradle beginning of his reputation, but he was not promoted because his cavalry charge against the machine guns was against the military rules. Hence, he was the end grave of his military reputation. Question 124. Why were two Cossack colonels promoted to major generals though they were defeated? Answer: They were promoted to major generals in spite of being defeated because they had followed the rules of military science in the battlefield strictly. Question 125. Why did Sergius resign from his service? Answer: As he was not promoted to a general, he felt that injustice had been done to him, so he resigned from his service. Question 126. How did Petkov react to Sergius' resignation? Answer: Petkov wanted Sergius to withdraw his resignation. Question 127. How did Sergius receive Rhina when she entered the garden? Answer: When Rhina entered the garden, Sergius received her by kissing her hand. Question 128. And so you are no longer a soldier. Who says this and to whom? Why? Answer: Catherine says this to Sergius. Sergius is no longer a soldier because he has submitted his resignation. Question 129. What is Sergius' opinion about soldiering? Answer: According to Sergius, soldiering is a coward's art of attacking the enemy when the enemy is weaker and keeping at a safe distance when the enemy is keeping the safe distance from the enemy when the enemy is stronger. Question 130. What, according to Sergius, is the secret of successful fighting? Answer: According to Sergius, the secret of successful fighting lies in attacking one's enemy when the enemy is weaker and keeping out of the danger when the enemy is stronger. Question 131. How did Bluntschli humbug Petkov and Sergius? Answer: He humbugged Petkov and Sergius by exchanging 200 useless horses for 50 able-bodied men. Question 132. My hero, who says this and to whom? Or what is meant here? Answer: Rhina here idealizes her lover Sergius as a hero and a king. The romantic idealization of love is ridiculed, caricatured here. Question 133. How does Rhina define higher love? Answer: Rhina defines higher love as a spiritual love. It is a state of mind of a person who could not do anything base or think anything novel when the person she loves is in her mind. Question 134. When does Sergius' higher love vanish? Answer: After taking about higher love, Rhina leaves Sergius for 5 minutes to get her hat. He takes his eyes slowly away from Rhina and sees Loka, and his higher love vanishes at the sight of Loka. Question 135. How does Sergius want some relief from the higher love? Answer. Sergius wants some relief from the higher love by flirting with Loka. Question 136. Who is the half-dozen Sergius? How? Answer. Sergius is half a dozen man in one. He has six selves: a hero, a buffoon, a humbug, a blackguard, a coward, and a jealous man. Question 137. How are an abominable little clod of common clay with the soul of a servant? Who says this, and to whom and why? Answer. Sergius says this to Loka because she has betrayed Rhaina by reporting her secret to him. Question 138. Whom and why does Sergius say witty as well as pretty? Answer. Sergius says this to Loka because he finds her highly intelligent as well as very handsome. Question 139. Why does Loka tell Sergius that she is worth six of Rhaina's? Answer. Loka tells Sergius that Rhaina makes love to another person behind the back of Sergius. She also tells him that Rhaina is a liar and a cheat while she herself is not. So she is 6 times superior to Rhaina. Question 140. What, according to Catherine, was the first thing Petkov asked for? Answer. According to Catherine, the first thing Petkov asked for was the old coat which they gave Bluntschli to leave their house in disguise. Question 141. Oh, poor father, as is he could help himself. Why is the speaker what does the speaker mean here? Answer. Rhaina is the speaker. She means that her father, Petkov, is a man of weak nature. He will accept any explanation about the coat given by her mother, Catherine. Question 142. Why did Bluntschli come to the Petkov house for the second time? Answer. Captain Bluntschli came to the Petkov house for the second time to return the old coat which they lent him to flee from their house in disguise. Question 143. What was Catherine's reaction when Bluntschli came to return the coat? Answer. When Bluntschli came to return the coat, Catherine became nervous and excited. She feared that the secret would soon be out that they had sheltered their enemy. Question 144. Welcome, my friend, the enemy. Who says this and to whom? Why is the person spoken to addressed as our friend, the enemy? Answer. Sergius says this to Captain Bluntschli when he came to return the old coat of Petkov. Bluntschli was a Swiss professional soldier who fought for the Serbs against the Bulgarians. So he was the enemy to the Bulgarians. After the war, the treaty was signed, and so he is no longer the enemy but a friend. Hence, he is addressed as our friend, the enemy. Question 145. Invaluable man, come along. Who is the invaluable man? Why? Answer. Petkov and Sergius were in difficulty to send out 3 cavalry regiments to Philippopolis. Bluntschli assures them that he will help them to solve the problem. So Sergius calls him an invaluable man for his military expertness. Question 146. Oh, the chocolate man, crimson soldier. Who says this? What was the consequence of this remark? Answer. When Bluntschli came to return the coat of Petkov, Rhaina says this, saying Bluntschli, this remark surprises all. Rhaina and her mother feared that Petkov and Sergius might suspect that Bluntschli is already known to Rhaina. Question 147. What story did Rhaina make to cover the truth of Bluntschli's midnight adventure at her room? Answer. To cover the truth, Rhaina lied that she had made a beautiful ornament of the figure of a soldier for the ice putting, and that stupid Nicola had put down some plates on it and spoiled it. By the story, she wanted to mean that she did not address Bluntschli as the chocolate cream soldier. Question 148. This hand is more accustomed to the salt than to the pain. Who says this and about whom? What does the speaker mean here? Answer. Sergio says this about himself. Bluntschli is writing orders of disposal of 3 regiments to Philippopolis on behalf of Petkov, and Sergius is signing the orders. While signing, he boasts of his military skill by saying the quoted line. He means that he can shine better in the field of battle than as an officer simply signing some orders. Question 149. You can stop interrupting Paul. How does Paul Petkov interrupt Bluntschli? Answer. While Bluntschli is busy writing orders of disposal of 3 regiments to Philippopolis on behalf of Petkov, Petkov interrupts Bluntschli by offering his help to Bluntschli again and again, though he is unable to help him. Question 150. There is only one thing I want to make me thoroughly comfortable. Who is the speaker? What is the only thing that the speaker wants to make him thoroughly comfortable? Petkov is the speaker. The only thing which he wants to make him thoroughly comfortable is his old coat. Thank you, friends, for watching my video.